Hello everyone. So this is a game I played with the black pieces, and this game is a little special to me because first of all I'm going through a period of tilt in chess where I'm losing a lot of rating points because of poor play, whatnot. But in this game, I'm proud of how I played, and I played at an accuracy of about 80%, and yeah, I was never in trouble. So this is a real good confidence booster for me, and also a major shout out to Sakshi and Candid team for instilling me in some confidence when I was low in it. So here we go. uh, White plays with opens with d4. This is the queen's pawn opening, and I bring my knight out first. This is a little flexible because you don't know who what black's gonna play. Black might play the London, black might play the Trumpowski here. So I mean, of course, instead of committing the pawn immediately, I start by bringing my knight out. But okay, at 1000 levels, people don't go get so into the meta of openings. So my opponent copies me, and I copy him by bringing out my queen's pawn. So far, so good. The position is about zero point 0.6 for white. It's a little bit of an advantage which white can play with, but come on. While playing, nobody knows that it's plus zero point 0.6. So, of course, this transposes into what the opening called Queen's Gambit. Right, this pawn is not defended. I can take, it's a gambit, but in taking, I'm going to surrender the control of center. Now, this pawn controls key central squares in my opponent's territory, but let's say I capture, there is no pawn controlling this thing. Opponent can play e5, they can win the pawn back and potentially get a big center. Of course, the engine's going, it's plus zero point 0.4. Oh, that's because it's a blunder of a pawn. Opponent cannot go with e5 yet, but let's say give it a couple of moves. Opponent plays e3, gets the pawn back, and chess has to be played with a slight advantage to white because the control of center is surrendered. I can't go e4 because I'll be hanging up the pawn two different ways, and so on. But okay, I digressed. Instead of taking the pawn, I defended my pawn. This is so we have transposed into the queen's gambit declined opening. Like my opponent offered a pawn, I said no, thank you. I'm going to defend my pawn, although it was already defended. But you never know. Like this knight can come under attack by this bishop and whatnot, and I might as well add a defender. Opponent takes, I take. And this is the exchange variation of Queen's Gambit declined. Not yet. And the opponent now guards this square with his bishop. So, of course, the bishop can come out and check my king. The bishop can come out here. Coming out here right now is impossible because my pawn controls the square. So this is a very flexible move. I push by c pawn 2 squares forward to c5. Opponent gives a check because he sees it, he likes it. I block with the bishop, and my opponent adds pressure. So this bishop is pinned. It's defended by two pieces, but there are two attackers, the bishop and the queen through the bishop, right? So the bishop can take, then the queen can take as well. So I block this attack. Now there's pressure on this knight three different ways, but there are only two defenders, so I add another defender here. But I mean, this was fine. It's still a little bit of an advantage to black here, 0.3. Opponent takes with, right? Here I take with the bishop, which was apparently the wrong move. I would have had a significant advantage if I had taken with the pawn, and I didn't know that, of course. Because this pawn the bishop cannot capture the pawn. The bishop has to move. The bishop can move here and attack the rook, but the rook slides over and the attack is gone. And anytime this pawn moves, the queen will be exposed to by attack from my own bishop. I mean, the best move here is to go back all the way to e2, and nobody would play that. And then c takes d4. Queen takes, game would rage on. What happens if I take with this pawn? Yep, it's minus 1.4 to black. Bishop to d6. How is it advantage for me? Queen d1. Yeah, the pieces are going backwards now. Anyhow, that didn't happen. So after bishop takes, after bishop took, after the knight took my knight, I took with the bishop. There was a big trade. I took with a pawn, and I lost a pawn, to be honest. And this trade was even bad, because not only did I lose this pawn, let's back up here. Not only did I lose this pawn, but now this pawn has two attackers and just one defender. Sorry, not that way, this way. So basically I'm down 2 pawns here. But here, at the cost of 2 pawns, I have more pieces out. I could potentially argue that 3 or 4 pieces are participating in the game. And the white has just the queen lurking around here. And the queen can't do damage by herself. She needs support. So where is the support, right? So even though I'm down 2 pawns, there is literally no advantage for white. It's plus 0.5, that's it. So I castle. White hangs on to the pawn. And there is a big advantage now. Of course, I should have played rook a8. Oops, nope. The computer likes both knight d4 and rook a8 as much, but rook a8 would have given me 2.3 advantage of minus 2.3. Right, I mean, queen has to go to b7. Knight g4. Go here. a3. Knight takes f2. Castle. Knight h3. Knight takes h3 check. We'll take. Oops. Bishop f6. Huh? Okay, the rook is trapped in the corner. Anyhow, this didn't happen. So I went knight e4 because this is centralizing my knight, supported by my pawn. The advantage drops a little to 1.9. But it's still to black. Even though I'm down 2 pawns, I'm still clean 2 pawns down. Black is up 2 pawns. The advantage is minus 2 to black. Almost. So let's see how. Black castles and the advantage goes even bigger. Because here I have bishop f6. Attacking this piece. Of course I didn't play that. I didn't play that move. I went for attacking the queen instead. And the advantage is still there. It's minus 3.4. The queen has to move. I've moved my queen. No queen trade where I'm down material. No queen trade because the queen is the most powerful piece and I can do damage. Now this is a very big mistake. First of all, this surrenders control of this pawn. And now there are 2 attackers to this. First of all, yeah, this pawn has lost a defender. Now there are 2 attackers to this pawn and just 1 defender. Second of all, now this pawn has 2 attackers, the pawn and the queen through the pawn, and just 1 defender here. So I take the pawn. It's a free pawn technically. The queen can't take. All black can do is add an attacker to my pawn, and I defend the pawn through the queen. This is called extra defense. The rook hits the queen but defends the pawn through this. Now, of course, the queen has to evacuate, but here I missed a very, very critical move. Instead of getting this rook over here, I had to get this rook. This queen has no moves. The queen has to sacrifice itself here now because it's trapped. It's trapped. The only way black can make progress is to attack my queen. At which case I can just move out of the way. Or, oh sorry, queen d6. Sorry, queen e6 is better. I don't get the difference. Oh. Okay, at which case queen takes b5, rook takes b5. Yes, the queen had to sacrifice itself. Yep. So the queen is trapped. But instead of that, I brought the a rook to this file. Now the queen can escape. But this pawn cannot be still captured because there may be two attackers. But one of the attackers is the queen, and let's say I take, in this game I played, what move did I play? I took it with the knight, which is apparently a bad move. So let's say the knight takes this pawn. I would take with the rook. Queen can't capture because you tragically lose your queen. So let's say I took with the knight. Rook d1, attacking this pawn, and I move the pawn forward, attacking the knight. This pawn can still not be taken because of the rook supporting it. The queen may not support this anymore, but the rook still does. The knight moves. Now the queen is still trapped. Yeah. Our opponent lost the queen anyway, and he took the rook. I took the rook. Took his queen. He takes the pawn because this pins the knight to my queen, and I simply move the queen, attacking his rook and the knight. Now to my opponent's credit, he plays the best move. Now my opponent is down material. He has a rook and a knight. Sorry, he has a rook and a pawn for my queen, for a queen. So he moves his rook back, defending it, moving it out of the scope of the queen. Now the queen can't take the knight. It's a very instructive move. When two pieces are under attack, you need to find a way to coordinate your pieces such that one of them defends the other and is out of scope of the attacking piece. Very instructive defense and very well played by my opponent. Now I take the chance to attack the rook in the corner. It's not trapped, he can go here. No, wait, sorry, why am I going there? Sorry, it was a blooper. We were here, right? He went here. Can't take this knight. So, yeah, this rook is not trapped. He goes here. But that gives up the pawn. Okay. Knight a3 is the best move, but I don't think anybody would find it. Going here, defending this rook. Sorry, going here, defending this rook. But it's still lost. And also opening up an attack from the rook. The queen has to go back. Queen takes. Why can't the queen go back? Then I lose this pawn. So let's say I take this. Bishop take the e2. I'm up a minor piece. Bishop. Oh, sorry, b takes a3. Now I am up a piece. And this pawn marches forward, supported by this bishop and a queen. There is no stopping it. You try to, let's say, you try to cut it off like this, I take your rook. Yeah. Opponent had to open up a front of attack on my queen after this, and I had to sacrifice my queen, but instead he takes the pawn. Whenever there are two rooks on the dark square and I have a dark squared bishop, it's bad news, guys. Bishop to c3 wins one of the rooks. Now here, black can't attack by queen because that would still blunder the rook in different ways. Black goes here, I take it with my queen. Black goes here, I take it with the bishop. So instead what black does is attack my knight, I take his rook, he takes my knight, I take his bishop. Yep, now my opponent is officially down an entire queen. He has just one pawn for the queen. Bad news, guys. He attacks my queen, I go to the back rank, it's dead lost. minus 61.7. Anybody can win this position. Brings the knight to attack the bishop. Doesn't matter. Take it with check. He blocks. I take the knight with the bishop. My opponent takes it with the rook, and it's back rank mate. The pawns box in the king, cannot escape, and the game's over. So it was a very, very, very instructive game. It was a very neat win. But let me take you through a few critical mistakes I made. Allowing the queen in was not good, but still the computer likes it. Again, taking the knight with the bishop was not good. It was much better to take it with the pawn, so that this attack would have been repelled. Yeah, but that didn't happen. Instead, I took with the bishop, lost the pawn, lost another pawn. But here, my opponent, of course, he castled, he made a mistake. And bishop f6 would have simply trapped the rook. There's no way to defend it unless you give up the knight for it. But yeah, I didn't go for that. Instead, he went for a queen trade. I didn't go for a queen trade. And my opponent gave the pawn right back, because this weakens two pawns at once. A pawn move, this is a very instructive moment. A pawn move always weakens something. So if you move this pawn is weakened. There are two attackers for both these pawns and just one defender, and this queen is overloaded. Poor queen. I took the pawn, I attacked the queen and took I won both the pawns back. Attack the knight, trapped his queen. Now the queen has nowhere to go here. It had to sacrifice itself for the rook. But to my credit, my opponent did defend well until this moment, where he blundered a fork. Like, this is what I call a capture, this is what is called a capture chain. He takes the, let's say I take the rook, he takes my knight, I still take his bishop, and now I'm up an entire queen. That's exactly what happened. No, I'm still up a queen for a knight. No, I'm up an entire queen. I have the bishop and knight cancel out, rooks cancel out, and yeah, blocking the check and blundering mate in one. That's it. The opponent was dead lost. So thank you for watching this game, and see you in the next one.